The Palace of Auburn Hills already rocking for their Pistons, who stole the game in Indiana, and now on their home floor hope to capture the home court advantage tonight. Now to check in with our Bud Light starting lineups, we check in with the PA announcer here at the Palace of Auburn Hills, Mason, with the starting lineups.
Fans, Standard Federal Bank would like to introduce to you some of the world's greatest athletes. First, how about a warm Palace welcome for the visiting Indiana Pacers. Number 11 is from Iowa State. At 6'3", the guard, Jamal Tinsley. Number 31 from UCLA, the 6'7" guard, Reggie Miller. The center from Southwest Texas State, the 6'11", Jeff Foster. Number 7 from Eve Claire High School, the 6'11" forward, Jermaine O'Neal. Also at forward from St. John's, number 23, the 6'7", Ron Artest. And the head coach of the Indiana Pacers, Rick Carlisle.
It's playoff time, Detroit. Let's go to work.
Basketball fans on your feet. Time to meet and greet the Ballers representing the Detroit Pistons. First, the Gods. Number 1 from the University of Colorado in the Piston home red, blue, and white tonight. The 6'3" Chauncey Billups. From Connecticut at 6'7", number 32, Piston guard Richard Rip Hamilton. The forward from North Carolina at 6'11", let the world meet Mr. Rasheed Wallace. It's Palace time for the 6'9", forward from Kentucky, number 22. So say hello to the Prince, Tayshaun Prince. The center at 6'9", wearing the big red 3 from Virginia Union University. Ben Wallace. And the head coach of the Detroit Pistons, Larry Brown. Detroit, let's play some basketball.
I think that pretty much says it all. Lights up. We're about set to light it up. The Palace of Auburn Hills. Let's check in with the third member of our team, courtside, Jim Gray. Jim.
All right, Brad, thank you very much. I spoke to Jermaine O'Neal. He said the team held a very rare team meeting yesterday. He said we watched videotape, and he said the one thing in the NBA, the videotape doesn't lie. I'm embarrassed. My teammates are embarrassed. We played like strangers. We didn't share the ball. I promise that will not happen tonight. I spoke to Ron Artest. He said, I didn't play like I was on the same team. I reverted back to my old ways. I was very, very selfish. That will not happen tonight. As for Rick Carlisle, he said, I'm not the type to give a Newt Rockne sort of speech. I spoke to him. They've got the message. For more on the Pistons, let's go down to Michelle Tafoya.
Jim, thanks. Well, in spite of 2 very close games, the Pistons seem to have no plans about changing their keys to the game. The keys to the game written last 2 games in Indiana, including transition defense, rebounding the ball, and maybe even more fundamental than that, at the bottom of the board, it says play hard, play smart, play together, and have fun. And certainly, it's easier to have fun when you're winning, and that is obviously the objective here in Game 3, Brad.
I'll tell you one thing, the crowd doesn't need any keys. It was an electric start about an hour ago. They're ready.
Yeah, they are ready. They've been talking all game. They're ready to get into this game. Again, Brad, one thing I'll say before the start, I find it interesting, you know, when you look at the 2 boards before the game, the Pacers are talking about that they're playing out of body. They have to do different things. And the Pistons are saying, just keep playing your game.
When series best of 7 have been tied at 1-1, the winner of Game 3 has won the best of 7 76% of the time. Keep it in mind because we're set to play ball. Eddie Rush, Bill Spooner, and Dick Bavetta are officials. Reggie Miller, the hero of Game 1. Rasheed Wallace, they call him Guaranteed here now in Detroit after the guarantee of winning Game 2, in which they did. There's what we're talking about. That's how important Game 3s can be. Eastern Conference Finals, Game 3. Dick Bavetta's got it in hand. Ben Wallace and Jermaine O'Neal are ready. Let's get it on.
You look at it, Game 3, Game 5, Game 7s are all swing games. And when they split Game 1 like they did in 1 and 2, then this is a 5-game series now. And the Detroit Pistons now have home court advantage.
The Rip Hamilton-Reggie Miller matchup has been sensational to watch through 2 games. Ball out of bounds to the Pacers as Rasheed Wallace knocked it out and picked up the foul. Nope, no foul, just knocked it out. Tinsley. Here's O'Neal, too much time. Well, that's not the way you want to start a game when the defense has been bothering you through 2 weeks, 2 games.
You're right, Brad. And some teams' offensive plays get them excited. For the Detroit Pistons' defensive plays, Jeff Foster just lost sight of the clock. Everyone, when you're taking the ball on the side out of bounds, everyone has to know clock situation.
Reggie Miller on Tayshaun Prince. Tayshaun lost the handle and almost turned it over. They're going to have to hurry a shot.
How about that?
Well, we talked about defense, 2 trips, 2 shot clock violations.
Yeah, and I don't know if either possession was great offense, to be honest. You know, we give these teams credit because they are great defensive teams. You can see them. They look like boxers to me against great punchers. They're waiting to be punched right now.
Yep.
Both of these teams have to get in and attack each other offensively.
We're 58 seconds into the game, and the crowd's chanting defense. Artest has an opening in the corner and air-mailed one to the backside to Foster. So there's only 5 on the shot clock. Didn't touch anything, and now Billups steals it from Tinsley.
So 3 possessions, and the ball has yet to hit the rim.
Rasheed Wallace against Jermaine O'Neal. 5 on the shot clock. He gets the jumper away, and finally it hits the rim, but that's all it hit.
Well, it's not horseshoes, but it's getting that way right now.
We'll take anything we can do to get it close. Jermaine O'Neal draws a double team from Billups. Artest got an open look again, and in and out again.
I got to tell you this. I like what Artest is doing now, though. In Game 1 and 2, he spent most of his time trying to draw fouls. Tough matchup again, like we said. He's tough to guard because of his quickness, his in-between threats. Rip Hamilton has been the one shining star so far offensively.
What we talked about a few minutes ago, and he has the opening basket of the ball game. Took 2 minutes for either team to score. O'Neal will take the long jumper. Nobody there but Tayshaun Prince on the rebound. Hamilton again. Tinsley's got a man in front. It's Artest, and he'll muscle a reverse layup in.
And you can see what the Pacers are trying to do. They want early opportunities. They want to push the ball up. They do not want the Pistons to set up this defense.
Reggie Miller was fronting Tayshaun Prince. The extra pass. Wallace to Wallace. Rasheed with a pass, and Ben with the throwdown. O'Neal's been struggling mightily. 16 points in the first half. In game 2, none in the second half. He crosses the lane and scores there. Tough shot.
Yeah, but I like it. I like that he was patient. He backed him down and got his shot. The first shot O'Neal took was what they wanted him to take. That shot there is what O'Neal wanted to take.
And so far, the two that Artest has taken have been the kind he wouldn't mind having.
Yes.
Tayshaun Prince. Artest chests him up. Rip Hamilton found a little opening, but he missed in close. Tinsley gets in too low. And now it's Billups and Hamilton running together. 2-on-2. Billups with a left hand.
You can see both teams pushing the ball up more in game 3 than they did in game 1 or 2.
Artest straight up with it. This time he scores.
See, he's getting looks this evening. You know, in game 1 and 2, he forced it into traffic. He was trying to draw fouls. You can see tonight, Artest has decided, I'm just going to take my shot.
Tied at 6. Artest on Hamilton. That's been a tough cover for him. Hamilton will take a 3. It's not a big three-point shooter. Reggie Miller with a rebound.
No, you're not going to see that very often.
O'Neal, he take too many steps. Doesn't matter. Rebound off the miss by Hamilton. Billups gave up an open 3. Rasheed Wallace trying to back Jeff Foster up, and now the fadeaway in the lane. Who's got the rebound? Out of bounds to the Pistons. The Pacers, rather. And Rasheed Wallace working the refs already. He did that all night the other night.
And the night before that.
Yeah. And the night before that. And the season before that.
Exactly. But he does a better job of it now.
Jermaine O'Neal, that last field goal he hit 2 trips ago, was the first field goal for him in 24 minutes of play. Dating back to the last game. Artest got a nice look at a reverse layup, just didn't get enough on it. Billups, the quick jumper. And O'Neal, the outlet. Both teams have started 3 out of 10, so we're right about on pace. Tinsley.
I like this. I think Tinsley has to have a big game, and it doesn't have to necessarily be scoring, but he has to attack the basket. He's the one guy, when you look at the Pacers, who can create his own shot. He's the guy.
Here's Billups bumping Tinsley off him and dropping in the baseline jumper. And we're tied at 8. Jamal Tinsley, you know, Doc, going back to the Miami series, he didn't score a lot. He'd have games with 9 assists and no turnovers, 5 or 6 steals. He did a lot of things well, but he hasn't done that so far in the first 2 games here.
Yeah, he has to be able to push the ball up and explore. And I think Rick Carlisle really wants him to do that in this game.
You gotta wonder how much his ankles bother him, too. He took kind of a weird spill in the 4th quarter the other night. There's the feed from Billups to Ben Wallace. Ben will take those all night long. 5:22 remaining first quarter. Chauncey Billups getting his shots and helping his teammates get theirs. Early in game 3, Eastern Conference Finals, and the Pistons by 2.
You're watching the NBA Eastern Conference Finals on ESPN.
where the Pistons lead by 2. And Doc, we've already seen a little more running early in this game than we've seen in the first 2 games put together.
Yeah, you can see both teams are really trying to get early offense. They're both great defensive teams. I mean, obviously the Pistons had 19 block shots, so we know about them, and so are the Pacers. But both teams are trying to run the floor. They're looking up the floor, and they're being aggressive, attacking the basket before either team can set their great defenses.
As a coach, is there any way that you can force transition or not really?
Well, not really. The way to force it, you got to get the other team to miss. You know, and
you got to rebound first.
Both teams are going to cooperate in that department, so they know that. So once you get the miss, you have to rebound and then you push it up. But you have to make it a point of emphasis, and I think both coaches have done that.
I guess that's what I meant, yeah. Sure looks like it so far. Now we've got backcourt pressure from the Pistons, and it pays off. Reggie Miller couldn't handle the pass.
Well, Reggie Miller was caught like a receiver who was wide open, who was thinking about running with the ball before catching the ball. In this case, he was thinking about shooting the ball before catching the ball.
5 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Pistons lead by 2. Corliss Williamson behind the back to Wallace. Off the bench and into the assist column that quickly. Corliss Williamson. O'Neal just trying to power his way through people, and he's fouled.
See, again, I like what Jermaine O'Neal is doing. He's attacking the basket quick, catching it low. You know, we wonder, why is Ben Wallace getting wide open? Well, because the Pacers have decided he's going to be the guy they're going to help off of, and the Pistons have found him 3 times already for layups. He has 6 points.
Great look from floor cam on the wraparound behind the back by the big nasty. Corliss Williamson to Ben Wallace. That's Jermaine O'Neal at the free throw line.
You know, you look at trends right now, Brad, in this game. 1, both teams are trying to run the ball. Both teams are pushing it up. Number 2, for the Pacers, it's clear they're trying to get Jermaine O'Neal involved on the low post, and they've been effective doing it.
They've got to. You can't have a guy that finishes 3rd in the MVP voting and not get him involved offensively. He had 21 points in the first game. You saw 16 in game 2. And he has 4 early in this one.
And he complained more, not that he had 16 points, because he said if you win, he doesn't care. I think he was more upset with the type of shots he had, which were more perimeter, elbow, jump shots.
Artest on Williamson. Corliss Williamson muscles it up and in. Well, he's made an impact in the first minute he's been in there.
And by putting him in, forces Artest to guard him, which can free up Rip Hamilton. So great move by Larry Brown.
Artest for 3. And it's going to be Foster underneath. Trying to battle for position. He'll pick up his first foul.
See, Brad, Ron Artest started out guarding Rip Hamilton. When you put Corliss Williamson in at the 3 spot, it forces Artest to guard Corliss Williamson, and it allows Rip Hamilton to be guarded by Reggie Miller. I think that's the matchup the Pistons are looking for.
Well, we always talk about how strong Ron Artest is, and he's the defensive player of the year. And at 6'7", he's the same height as Corliss Williamson, but Corliss didn't get the nickname Big Nasty for nothing.
No.
You don't move him very easily.
Now look at what's going on here. Rick Carlisle decides he's going to bring in Al Harrington for Reggie Miller to change that matchup.
Williamson, the lob to Rasheed Wallace. He got it. Wow.
That's a great play by both guys. The defensive player, you rarely see anyone try to block a lob, and you saw it there.
And Wallace stayed with it, powered through it, and has a chance for a 3-point play.
I think you have to watch this game closely if you're Rick Carlisle early. You knew that the energy of the Pistons would be high. The Pacers have to be very careful.
Harrington, a pull-up jumper. It was wide open. Didn't get it, though, and Billups looking to run with Rip Hamilton and Corliss Williamson. Rip Hamilton, the pull-up jumper. And Jermaine O'Neal pushed off, I think, to try to get that rebound.
You know what's interesting is the Pacers talked about pushing the ball up and running. The Pistons didn't say a word about it, but they're the team that is doing it right now. They are really attacking the basket.
7-point lead for Detroit at home on an 11-2 run right now with 3:35 remaining in the first quarter. Rasheed Wallace getting some love from the hometown fans. Detroit by 7. All right, Kevin, I keep thinking about Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid with a French Open. Who are those guys?
Well, you know, it's funny. Kevin Frazier said the Clay's the great equalizer. I think the Detroit Pistons are the great equalizer.
And Ben Wallace can be fro or not. Let's check in with Michelle.
During that last time out, guys, a lot of discussion between Larry Brown and Chauncey Billups, and that's not unusual. Billups knew when Brown became the new coach here, he was going to learn a lot from him. Billups told me earlier that they spent a lot of time together, just one-on-one, going through game situations on film, determining when Chauncey should attack, when he should pull back. And Chauncey told me, I've become more cerebral. I've had a lot of opportunities in this league, none as good as this one with so many options and a great coach.
Well, he's certainly well-traveled, but fits in with this group better than he has anyplace else. Rip Hamilton has 4, Billups has 4, Ben Wallace has 6, Rasheed Wallace 2, and Corliss Williamson 2 off the bench. And this, I think, is the biggest lead the Pistons have had in the series. They're up 9.
Well, they're playing great basketball. They're playing with their great defensive energy, but more importantly, they're pushing the ball up offensively, and they're getting every shot that they want. Right now, the only Pacer who is getting his shot, in my opinion, is Jermaine O'Neal.
The only problem is he's not necessarily hitting them. Wallace, baseline.
You know, to add what Michelle said, people forget Larry Brown was a heck of a basketball player, and he was a point guard. I played, and Larry Brown coached me also, and he is very difficult on point guards, but he gives you great information.
Larry has his 7th NBA team in the playoffs.
Another great pass, great shot. They're getting everything they want. You know, in game 2, Rasheed Wallace was one of the other guys who got great looks, and they just didn't go in. And you knew if he can get those same looks in this building, more of them would go in.
We're at our first double-digit lead of the series by either team. Jermaine O'Neal at the free throw line, 3 for 3.
If you're Rick Carlisle, and if you're the Pacers right now, and your whole thought is just keep it close. Play through the emotion of the home team, the early emotion.
Even though Jermaine O'Neal might tack on another point here, it's not going to be a field goal. It's going to be a free throw. And 10 times in this series already, Doc, the Pacers have had field goal droughts of over 3 minutes. You just can't do that. And a lot of that is credited to the Detroit defense. But you keep having those stretches, you're going to get beat.
Well, unless you can do it to the other team.
That's
and
true.
Right now, they're not doing it to the other team.
Rasheed Wallace feeling every shot right now. Gets a little hip push from Bender, and Bender picks up his 2nd foul.
You know, again, when we talked about it before the game, Brad, you can see right now the maturity of the Pistons and the youth of the Indiana Pacers. The Pistons have come out, they played the exact same way that they played all year, and you can feel the Pacers searching for something different. Not necessarily something they should be searching for. They should just keep playing the way they played all year.
Pistons are in their comfort zone, and the Pacers certainly are not right now. Which team was the all-time champion? Jordan's Bulls versus Bird's Celtics, and Wilt's Sixers against Magic's Lakers. Cast your votes in the semifinal matchups of the all-time finals challenge on NBA.com. Donnie Walsh and Larry Bird, the brain trust of the Indiana Pacers, looking on, finding their team down by 10. And Rasheed Wallace with a chance to make it 11. And does. The Pacers have started games horribly, and now they're on the road. And that's a whole different animal. Anthony Johnson is checked in, so is Fred Jones. Rick Carlisle's going to try to shake the lineup up a little bit and find a combination that works. Artest really had to fire it because Rasheed Wallace was running out there for a block, and he airmailed one to the backside. Under 2 minutes in the quarter.
Wow.
Rasheed!
No one guarding Rasheed Wallace on the post.
Timeout.
Fred Jones had him low and left him wide open.
team.
Yeah, they are, and this is why. Because they're getting every shot they want. This is Fred Jones and Rasheed Wallace right here. Look at this. Rotation. Leaves the guy under the bucket. Wide open dunk.
On the baseline, a runner by Johnson. Harrington trying to battle for the rebound. And let's see which way it's going. It's going to be the Pacers' ball.
You know, that's the third or fourth time already for Indiana where they have to take shots with 1 or 2 seconds left on the shot clock and not necessarily the shot that they wanted to take.
You heard the big ovation for Rasheed Wallace and Rip Hamilton as they go out and get a breather. Mehmet Okur and Lindsey Hunter come in for them. Pacers have missed 6 shots in a row from the floor, and with 1:20 remaining in the quarter, they're down 13. Fred Jones will try a 3. Wallace snatches the rebound. You can go back, Doc, to the third quarter of the second game in this series. The Pacers have missed their last 13 three-pointers. Corliss Williamson was open. 5 on the shot clock. It never touched the rim. And O'Neal will clear off Mike James' miss. Under a minute in the quarter. Great quarter for Detroit. A terrible one again for the Pacers. O'Neal draws a double team, works baseline. That's his shot. One of many, but that's a good one.
Yeah, and as crazy as it sounds, that's the matchup they're looking for. They would rather have O'Neal go up against Wallace so he can't be, and Ben Wallace so he can't be the help defender.
Nice move by Mike James, like a rocket.
That's at least the 6th layup that they've had already.
Tell you one thing, the Pistons' percentages are going up. About a second difference on the shot clock and the game clock. The Pistons have a foul to give here. Anthony Johnson cross courts it. Artest has an open look. 3 in and out again. And that's the end of the quarter. Standing ovation for the hometown Pistons as they dominated quarter number 1. After a 12-point first quarter for Indiana the other night, only a 14-point first quarter tonight. It's all Detroit in the opening 12. The other night in the win in Indiana for his Pistons on the road, and he's put together quite a team and done it in a variety of ways. Basically, you look at the Pistons, you think about 4 guys that you can consider stars, both Wallace's, Chauncey Billups and Rip Hamilton, one of the better backcourt combinations in the league. Then they've got some youth as well as they look ahead. Mehmet Okur has played well. Darko Milicic was the #2 draft choice last year, and Tayshaun Prince only his 2nd year out of Kentucky. And then you mix in some veterans, some wily old guys that can give you minutes off the bench and help solidify those young guys. And then you give Larry Brown, a Hall of Fame coach, the opportunity to mold it. You got a pretty good combo.
Yeah, you really do. And what the Pistons are trying to do is be the first team in a long time to win a title without that quote-unquote superstar, though I think Ben Wallace is pretty close to being one.
And Rip Hamilton starting to develop into one, that's for sure. Okur with 3 on the shot clock. Has to hustle. Got it to the rim, and Artest. Oops, some elbows, and Corliss Williamson. That's okay. They both have new shaved heads today. They're just rubbing them a little bit. Let's check in with Jim.
All right, Brad, during that last time out, Rick Carlisle told his guys, hey, guys, you've got to try and break down this defense. Quit standing around and holding the ball. Don't settle for the shot. You must penetrate, and if you penetrate, kick it out or take the shot. We've got to figure out a way to break this down.
Well, one of the things Rick Carlisle told us this morning was that his team had to move the ball, but it's not just about moving the ball, it's moving it to the right area and to the right people. So far, you can see they haven't done that.
It's not just the shots that are being contested. Every dribble and every pass is being contested.
See, but again, you see the end of that play. One guy was stuck holding the ball. 4 guys were stuck watching him play. I mean, you look at this, it's easy to guard one guy standing still.
have to hurry a shot. Harrington got an open look and really had to put an arc on it because Ben Wallace made a run at him. And a fresh shot clock for the Pacers here.
And look where they're taking shots. 1 second, 2 seconds on the clock. Off a ball swing. Nowhere to go. Desperation shots.
Artest draws a third foul from Corliss Williamson, so he'll have to sit down after doing a nice job off the Pistons bench. Tayshaun Prince comes back in for Detroit.
Yeah, and the bench of the Pistons have been great. You know, after game one, where it was all Pacers bench, since then, it's been all Pistons.
Artest gives it up to Johnson. Johnson, nice pass inside to Harrington, and he tips the second try in.
But that's what Rick Carlisle was talking about. You got to break down this defense and make a play for someone else. That's what Anthony Johnson just did.
Pistons were looking for an offensive interference call on Harrington on his own shot, and now Harrington, it's only the second Piston turnover. Fred Jones flies in, and flies in with too much steam.
You know, sometimes it's the shooter's fault, and sometimes it's the passer's fault. And to me, in this case, it was the passer's fault. Al Harrington's pass led Fred Jones into that charge.
Put him in a no-win position.
He had nowhere else to go.
Tayshaun Prince trying to feed the post, and Harrington comes up with his second steal in as many trips. Johnson leaves it for Artest, and now Harrington underneath with the extra pass from Artest.
But I like what Johnson did. In that one, same situation, he kept it until the defense made a decision. Then he made the play.
Al Harrington off the Pacers bench has added a little spark here. Remember, he was the big spark. In fact, led the Pacers in scoring in game one. He had 14 points in the first half. He didn't score the other night, but he did have 7 rebounds. Tonight he's got 4. There's 4 on the shot clock. Three-pointer en route. And Anthony Johnson the rebound.
Now, if you remember game one, the Detroit Pistons got off to a great start. They went to their bench, and both teams went to their benches, and it was the Pacers who took over. It looks like the same thing is about to happen.
Austin Crozier with an offensive rebound. Got swatted out there by Ben Wallace. The Pistons in the first 2 games of this series have blocked, get a load of this, 17% of the Pacers shots taken. That's only about 3 times more than you'd have in a normal game. Detroit keeps it alive.
Ben Wallace getting his hand on that ball right there is why he is such a great rebounder.
Mike James, offensive foul.
See, Larry Brown is concerned right now because of turnovers. You know, that's the one area in game one.
Ben Wallace, 42 block shots just in the playoffs. His team in front here in the second quarter.
ESPN's presentation of the NBA Eastern Conference Finals, brought to you by Miller. Vote Miller for president of beers. Good call. And the new Chevrolets. 10 new cars and trucks in 20 months. An American revolution.
The second pick goes to the Los Angeles Clippers. And that means that the #1 pick in the 2004 draft goes to the Orlando Magic. Pat, unbelievable. Congratulations.
For the 3rd time in 12 years, Pat Williams and the Orlando Magic have the #1 pick. Here's the top 5. Clippers 2, Chicago 3. The Bobcats guaranteed 4. The Wizards get 5. Let's go back to Brad.
All right, Kevin, docket figures. Get the #1 pick, and you're sitting next to me.
Well, I'm responsible. You know, I wouldn't be sitting next to you. That's why they have the #1 pick.
This is Ben Wallace's 42nd block shot of the playoffs. And the other night we had 19 just by Detroit. And with Memorial Day weekend coming up, I know you're all putting together block parties for your neighbors. You just got to invite these guys over. Elton Campbell had 3 blocks off the bench. Ben's always good for 4 or 5. Rasheed Wallace had blocked, heard round the NBA, and Rasheed Wallace had 5 blocks. Now, you invite those guys over to your house, they'll get you 19 blocks, but they'll probably eat you out a hot dog.
I think they would. They definitely would. But, you know, 19 blocks in one game is unbelievable. I mean, you look at the effort that takes, and I think the mental stress that it puts on the other team.
Pistons have been scoreless this quarter as the bench of Indiana has helped the cause here. O'Neal back in the lineup, and he scores as he comes back in and has his 10th point, and now it's a 7-point ball game.
Yeah, this game reminds me so much of game 1, where the Pistons came out, they had all their energy early in that game, and slowly the Pacers got back in the big game, and they got back in it with their bench, and that's what they're doing again right now. One starter on the floor.
Rasheed Wallace goes against the double team, got his own miss. Tried to stick it back up there, and Fred Jones tracks down the rebound. Pacers can cut it to 5 if they score. Crozier will try it on the baseline. And Al Harrington trying to battle with Tayshaun Prince. Picks up the foul. Reggie Miller has been on the Pacers bench for quite some time. Hasn't scored tonight after having 21 the other night.
You know, I think Rick Carlisle was looking at this unit on the floor, and he's going to let them play a little bit. This is a unit so far for the Pacers that have given them energy and they have given them points, and that's what they need.
They're on a little 6-0 run. And the Pistons now have hit a drought. Seven on the shot clock. Trying to pack it into Okur, and Austin Crozier with his first foul.
Well, that's the dilemma when you put Austin Crozier in. You know he's a great scorer. He can shoot the 3. He's different at the 4 position because he brings the 4 out defensively, but he gives up a lot of size defensively. And that's where Rick Carlisle right now, he's made the choice. We need more offense right now than we do defense.
Pistons have Okur out there instead of Ben Wallace. Otherwise, it's their starting group. Mehmet working against O'Neal, and he's going to have to force a shot. Almost got it to go. The rebound is Crozier. Another opportunity to cut it to 5 for Indiana with 7:05 remaining in the half. Johnson, a lot of dribbling, finally gets it to Crozier, and he'll square up and take the same shot, and it's the same result.
Yeah, they like the shot, but it's not going in, and that's the problem. They do like the fact that he creates a matchup advantage.
Here's a lob to Rasheed from Tayshaun Prince, and he couldn't quite handle it. Rasheed making sure everybody's okay where he flew into the good seats.
You can see him open the whole way. I mean, Jermaine O'Neal, you're looking at him, he never looks to see the basketball.
And Rasheed kept right on running, trying to save his own miss. That's why he ended up in the crowd.
Right now, the only guy going for the Pacers offensively is O'Neal. And I think that's where you need to see the Pacers go a little bit more.
Reggie Miller is back in the lineup. He has yet to take a shot tonight. O'Neal, quick move across the lane. Got his own miss and made sure the second time.
See, he looks good. He's getting the ball deep, Brad, on the post. And even when he doesn't get it deep, he takes it deep. He is causing a problem right now for the Detroit defense. But right now, he's the only guy causing a problem.
Right now, we're almost halfway through the quarter, and the Pistons haven't scored yet. 9 trips, no points. And we will be at the midway point of this quarter the next time the Pacers take a shot. And here it comes, and it's a foul underneath.
Austin Crozier's quickness is causing the problem also.
Pacers back in the ball game. They'll have a chance to chip into the 5-point lead when we come back. At a 13-point lead at the end of the first quarter. They haven't scored yet here in the second, and the Pacers on an 8-0 run have made it a 5-point ball game. As we take a look at our Chevy game track, Jermaine O'Neal tonight getting off for the Pacers. They're going to need him. He's shooting 50%, and he has a dozen here in the first half. For Detroit, they have 8 assists. Indiana had 8 assists all of game 2. So the Pistons moving around well, forcing some high percentage shots, getting some easy looks underneath, and they have the big advantage with the points in the paint to this point. But now a chance to cut further into the 5-point lead as Al Harrington's at the free throw line. And you can see the Pistons 0 for 7 with 4 turnovers this quarter.
And, you know, the playoff series is all about adjustment. Look what the Pacers are doing now. They have 4 smalls out. I don't know if you can ever call Artest a small.
Right.
And then 1 big. So that's one adjustment that they're making. They're trying to go small.
Let's check in with Michelle Tafoya.
Well, Darvin Ham making his first appearance in this game. He's returned from Saginaw, Michigan, where his mom is the mayor. His mother, Wilmer, went into the hospital yesterday. They thought it was a heart ailment. Fortunately, it's not. It's a fatigue factor, but she's still in ICU. Darvin tells us she's doing much, much better than yesterday. But again, the mayor of Saginaw, Michigan, in the hospital, and Darvin here playing in her honor, guys.
And we wish her all the best in recovering. They have a big celebration there in Saginaw when her baby boy comes home, and they have quite a party for all the folks there with a lot of fun. I'm sure they'll have it again this summer. Tinsley. O'Neal with a left hand. Oh, now that's strong.
I tell you, Jermaine O'Neal, Brad, you can see it early on. He's got a great rhythm, and he's attacking the basket. More importantly, he's getting his shots.
Still no points in the second quarter. That is almost 7 minutes old for the Pistons. And Rip Hamilton picks up an offensive foul to boot.
It's amazing how quickly momentum can change. And for the Pacers, it's about their bench. Rick Carlisle went to their bench. The bench gave the Pacers energy. Now some of the starters are back on the floor, and it's continuing.
We would have told you 7 minutes ago that the Pacers would have a chance to lead. You'd have said we were crazy. They do have a chance here. They've scored 12 straight points. O'Neal. And he had that one in rhythm, too. It just didn't drop for him.
You know, cat and mouse is being played by both coaches. Rick Carlisle has decided to go small. So instead of Larry Brown matching up to him, he's gone even bigger. He brings in Rasheed Wallace, Ben Wallace, and Ham at the 3.
Let's see how that works out. The Wallaces in there together. Rip Hamilton has only 4 points. Well, for one thing, it's going to be a foul on Jamal Tinsley, just trying to stay with Ham.
So both coaches are playing chicken right now, Brad. They're trying to see which group can have the biggest advantage. You know, obviously, if the Pacers go on a bigger run, then Larry Brown might have to match up small.
We're almost to 4.5 minutes remaining in the half. Detroit looking to score. Maybe they'll get it from the free throw line. Tinsley now picks up another one.
And that was just a great veteran play by Billups. He saw where Tinsley's hands were at, and he drew the foul.
And that'll probably bring Anthony Johnson back in rather shortly, too. Tinsley picking up 2 in about a 30-second span as Chauncey Billups goes to the free throw line. Chauncey shooting 89% from the free throw line in the playoffs. He has 5 points. Tomorrow night on TNT, Game 4 of the Western Finals, Minnesota at Staples against the Lakers, and then Saturday night on TNT, they'll take it back to Target Center, 8:30 Eastern Time, Game 5 of the Western Finals on TNT. In and out that time for Billups. And it's a 2-point Piston lead with 4:25 remaining in the half. Brad Nessler, Doc Rivers, Michelle Tafoya, Jim Gray from the Palace of Auburn Hills. Both teams looking to take the edge here in Game 3 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Tinsley lost it. Billups and Hamilton will run together. It's Rip to rip it. The Pistons went 8 minutes and 17 seconds without a field goal in this quarter. The one they got started with defense and ended with a flourish. 4:06 till halftime. Pistons back in front.
Miller Lite has one.
All right, Kevin, you mentioned the drought, and I mentioned it before the break. 8 minutes and 17 seconds without a field goal. Rick Carlisle told his Pacers 2 timeouts ago it'd be coming.
Let's go. We're going to hit some scoring droughts, and when they do, that's when we got to take advantage.
Chip away, baby, one at a time.
Chip away they did. The missed shots by the Pistons. And then Jermaine O'Neal and Al Harrington and company starting to come to life. And we got a ball game.
Yeah, we do. And we have it because they did, number one, they sustained through the home court emotion of the Pistons. Number two, the reason they're running and scoring is because they're getting the Pistons to miss shots. When you miss shots and you get rebounds, you can run and push the ball up the floor. That's what the Pacers are doing now.
For the Pacers, Tinsley, Artest, Reggie Miller, Al Harrington, and Jermaine O'Neal on the floor. The two Wallaces for Detroit, Darvin Ham, Rip Hamilton, and Chauncey Billups for the Pistons. We're under 4 minutes remaining in the first half. O'Neal catches it, but not in the spot he'd like to have it. He'll take the long ball anyway.
Brad, you called it. Perfect. You know, not in the spot that he likes to have it. And you can see that. When he's caught the ball out there, he has struggled a little bit. When he gets to that spot, you know, young players understand it's a foot. It's 2 feet. If you can just get a difference by 1 foot, you're in a better position where you can score.
Billups on a pick and roll, gives it back to Rasheed Wallace. The pull-up jumper and got it. 11 for Rasheed. The only Piston in double figures, and that is the second field goal rather, of the second quarter for Detroit. Harrington will have to give it up. He gets it back from Artest. A fadeaway in the paint, tough shot, and a good one. And Al Harrington has 8 off the Pacers bench, all in this quarter.
He's doing what he did in game 1.
Here's a steal by Artest and a foul on Ham.
See, the small lineup right now for the Pacers is causing problems for the Pistons. It's spreading the floor. They're getting one-on-one coverage instead of guys coming in for help. So advantage Pacers right now with this lineup.
Four-point game, under 3 minutes remaining first half. Reggie Miller's been quiet. Here's Harrington working against Ben Wallace. He scored last time he had it. And he scored again.
But again, no help, because every other guy on the Pistons is guarding another guy who can shoot. So they're allowed to spread the floor with no help defense.
Ben Wallace talking to the officials all the way up, thought that Harrington charged into him. And Al Harrington has 10 points off the Pacers bench, and we have a 2-point ball game. Billups. Whoa, nice help by Artest to swat that out of bounds. And then he gave Dick Pavetta the little head rub. Yeah, I said to Artest today, I said, Ron, you got a new haircut. He said, maybe I can elevate better with the shaved head tonight. He elevated pretty well there, and then talks to the officials in the corner, and now comes up with another steal. Pacers can tie. Tinsley didn't leave it for Harrington in a great spot. But with under 2 minutes remaining, Harrington's been the man this quarter. This time he turns it over. And now it's Chauncey Billups on a run out. He leaves it for Ham.
Ron Artest was furious with his teammates because he was the only guy that got back, and there were 4 Pistons under the basket. When you look at this play, you see 1 Pacer, not enough Pistons.
Closest other guy was Reggie Miller. He was trying to give chase, but really wasn't close. Al Harrington and Jermaine O'Neal have all of Indiana's points this quarter, all 16. Detroit has only 7 points this quarter. Loose ball out of bounds to the Pacers.
Brad, does this remind you of game 1? The turnovers of the Pistons are allowing the Pacers to get back in this game.
They've got 10 turnovers, 9 this quarter. And we approach a minute. Don't forget Toyota halftime report. Kevin and the guys will be along when we finish up quarter number 2 from the Palace O'Neal bumping, and offensive foul. Rasheed Wallace timed that bump pretty well.
He really did. You know, he could see Jermaine O'Neal crab dribbling down into Rasheed. 1, 2, gets the offensive foul. He was timing it perfect, and he took the hit.
He told Bennett Salvatore the other night in Game 2, as our official Bennett was wired, he said, watch Jermaine O'Neal. He's going to bump me once with a shoulder, bump me twice with a shoulder, then he's going to try to hook me. And he timed the second bump to take it to the floor.
Well, don't forget that they played together in Portland.
That's right.
So they know each other's moves down, and they're great friends.
Ron Artest picks up his second foul.
The ebbs and flows of momentum, all right? You know, the Pistons started out with great momentum. The Pacers are getting it back. Now you have to be careful if you're the Pacers. You don't want the Pistons to end this half on a run.
Hamilton with a free throw. Puts the Pistons back up by 5. Rick Carlisle, the former coach of the Detroit Pistons. Larry Brown on the right. Back in the mid-90s, 4 years the coach of the Indiana Pacers. And on opposite benches here in the Eastern Conference Finals. Detroit ekes it back to a 6-point advantage. And we're down to 45 seconds remaining in the half. Reggie Miller hasn't taken a shot, has he? I don't think so. O'Neal, boy, long step in there. He got stepped on. And another Pacer turnover. Rip Hamilton threw that pass. It wasn't a good one, and he somehow tracked it down himself.
He knew it was bad when he left his hands.
Billups. Battle for the rebound. And out of bounds for the Pacers. 16 seconds remaining in the half. Tinsley looks over to Rick Carlisle, walks it up. There'll be 10 seconds left as he crosses midcourt. Tinsley, the crossover, goes inside against the big guys and has it blocked by Wallace. Ben Wallace that time.
I tell you, if you're Rick Carlisle and you're looking at this lead, you're not that upset because this could have got out of control.
This is where Reggie Miller wants Ron Artest to throw it into him. Oh, but he turned the wrong way. And he threw it away.
Well, the play was for a flare for Reggie Miller. He was going to fake like he wanted it in the corner. Jermaine O'Neal was going to come and give him a pick, but Artest let the ball go before the play could develop.
That's when Ron wishes he was like one of the Globetrotters and had a string on it to pull it back.
You can see Jermaine O'Neal late in your picture. You know, you can see him waiting to set the pick, but Artest lets the ball go. There it is right here.
Another look, and you see Reggie's go, oh, no, you threw it too quick. The McDonald's NBA brackets. The Lakers have a 2-1 advantage over the Timberwolves with Game 4 tomorrow night. And our series right here, we're going to find out in the next 2 quarters who's going to win Game 3 at the Palace at Auburn Hills. And it has been another one of those knockdown dragouts where every time you get the ball, you wonder if you even get the pass away, much less the shot.
Well, what happened to the breaks? You know, at the beginning of the game, both coaches were talking about we're going to push the ball up the floor. You are who you are.
It worked for about 5 minutes.
You are who you are. Play your game. I think both teams are doing that. They took
Ben Wallace
0.3 off the clock. It was at 1.4.
Yeah, it was at 1.4.
Now it's 1.1.
1.1. Pistons 9 points in the quarter. They can add to it if they can score here, but it's stripped away by Tinsley. So the Pistons actually end up the quarter with a turnover, not a shot attempt. Well, 9 points isn't much, but they've still got a 6-point lead. Pacers cut the lead down to 1 at one point at 27-26. Detroit pushes it back out to a half dozen here at halftime as we check in with Michelle.
All right, standing by with Chauncey. Billups, you guys jumped out to an early 13-point lead. What was going right early?
I mean, we were getting out on a break, and we were getting some easy opportunities that we took advantage of. And I thought we got less aggressive in that second quarter. and let them get a little more aggressive, and that's why you see a closer game.
Yeah, is it something you can get back to the break, or do you think this is going to be a half-court game whether you like it or not?
Well, I mean, we're going to try to, take advantage of opportunities, but, more than likely it'll be a half-court game. But when we do get opportunity, we got to take advantage.
Rasheed Wallace has been playing with the foot injury, but pretty active here in this first half. To what do you attribute that?
I think he's getting a little healthier. He's been able to practice a little bit. He hasn't practiced, but maybe 1 or 2 times since he's been here. He hasn't been healthy, but I think he's feeling a little better now.
Chauncey, thanks for stopping.
Thank you.
Back to you, Brad.
All right, thanks, Michelle. Halftime, a 6-point lead. Detroit had 10 turnovers and 9 points in the second quarter, but they still lead at the break. Toyota halftime report. Kevin and the guys coming up. They'll talk about the draft lottery recap. French Open upsets that have taken place. What about Gary Barnett at Colorado? Will he be coming back? We know one thing. We'll be coming back to the Palace of Auburn Hills after the halftime report, and the Pistons will be leading by 6. Just about set to start the third quarter at the Palace of Auburn Hills. Detroit at home leads by 6 at the break as we take a look at our Nike first half statistics.
Ouch.
Again, you see the Pacers under 34% of they've been now for 3.5 games, yet they only trail by 6 points. Detroit, Doc, looked like they could take the game over. They had a 13-point lead at the end of one, but they hit an 8-minute and 17-second drought, and the Pacers bench brought them back in.
Yeah, the bench brought them back in just like in game one. I never thought I'd say this, but I think we're going to see a scoreless quarter at some point in this series. When you look at the Pacers right now, only 4 guys have scored. Only 4 guys have scored points for the Pacers.
Let's check in with Michelle.
All right, guys. Well, I spoke to Larry Brown coming out of the locker room. He told me we're lucky we got out of that second quarter. We had more turnovers, 10, than we had points, 9. He said, I had to remind my guys, we're wearing the white, they're wearing the yellow, because we seem to be throwing into the wrong uniforms too much. They got a little impatient offensively. He said the last 4 minutes he thought they matched Indiana's energy. He still wants to see the ball go inside more, and he wishes Corliss Williamson didn't have 3 fouls. Now over to Jim Gray, who's covering Indiana. Jim.
All right, Michelle, thank you very much. Well, Rick Carlisle feels lucky as well. Lucky that he's only 6 points behind. He said, I can't believe I'm telling you this, Jim, but we had better shots. We just had a lot of tough luck. He said, I think we're lucky to be in this game. I said, have you ever seen anything like this? You scored 54 points in your last 4 quarters. He says, well, maybe somewhere, but come to think of it, no, and I hope I never see it again.
That's
Brad?
true.
That makes 2 or 3 of us. Tayshaun Prince misses the opener for the Pistons in the third quarter, and Foster with a rebound.
You know, both coaches are saying they're lucky because they know they've only played 1 quarter each so far. The Pacers played great in the second quarter. The Pistons played great in the first quarter.
Pacers turn it over. Bounce pass to Tayshaun Prince, and he's fouled, and he goes down hard on the baseline. Artest was going to make sure that he didn't get the easy one. The pass was picture perfect. The bounce pass on the fly
was sensational. But again, both teams have gotten points off of turnovers. That's how they're scoring. You turn the ball over in this game, that's how these 2 teams are basically getting their offense.
The foul on Artest is 3rd. Tayshaun Prince kind of grimaces his way back to the free throw line.
You know, Artest is the guy right now. If the Pacers are going to win, they're going to need a better Artest offensively. Jermaine O'Neal, it looks like when you look at the Pacers, has kind of found his stride. They're getting him the ball in the right spot. He needs someone else. Jamal Tinsley might be the guy that they need to get on track. Reggie Miller has not taken a shot.
Right.
So he might be the guy, but someone else has to step forward for the Pacers to have any chance this evening.
Those are Tayshaun Prince's first points of the ball game. Reggie Miller gives it back to Tinsley, a 3, and they have gone 20 straight misses on 3-pointers going back to the last ball game.
Would you ever thought you would say that with the guy with a team with Reggie Miller on?
No. Pass skips out to Prince. Rip Hamilton.
The pass is why he missed the shot. You know, people miss that, but his pass is why he missed that shot.
Out of bounds to the Pistons, though, with a fresh clock and an opportunity to make it a double-digit lead again. Wallace, the extra pass is one too many. Rick Carlisle looking for some offense from his starters, and that's what he has to show for it so far.
Well, at least they've scored 2 of them. You know, there's only 2 other guys who have scored.
Ron Artest is in the series 13 of 52. Ouch. O'Neal. That's his shot, but he didn't get it.
You know, coming into this series, we thought Artest would have a huge advantage, and we thought Rip Hamilton would have a huge advantage. The only guy playing well is Rip Hamilton.
Chauncey Billups misses a baseline jumper. O'Neal will clear it off. Artest and O'Neal look a little tired right now, which is kind of strange. They're 24 years old.
You know, I'm watching Rick Carlisle on that last play, and he was applauding. And you know what he's applauding is that Jamal Tinsley pushed the ball out, is trying to get early offense, Brad, and get into the paint. Now, no one else was playing with him at the time.
Well, when he was already at the free throw line, Jermaine O'Neal and Ron Artest were still back here in front of us. So who's he pushing it to? Maybe Reggie, I guess.
Yeah, and himself.
Billups on a pick and roll gives it back to Rasheed Wallace on the baseline. And Foster doing what he does so well as rebound. Rip Hamilton got right in Reggie Miller's grill, or he would have tried a 3 right there. Ben Wallace almost with a steal. Tinsley gets a wide open 3 and knocks it down. First 3-pointer of the last 21 that the Pacers have taken that's gone through the net. And it came at a good time. Cuts the lead down to 5. Momentarily quiets the Detroit crowd. Billups the lead for Ben Wallace. Chance to add 1.
That's the 4th layup now that Ben Wallace has gotten in this game. And when offense is at a premium, you don't want to give anyone layups. I don't care who it is. You can see they've decided that they're going to help off Ben Wallace, and no one is recovering.
Ben will go to the free throw line. Undrafted out of Virginia Union. Started his career with the Washington Bullets. And rips the free throw. Ben's got 9. And the lead is 8. Boy, Rip Hamilton's done a nice job on Reggie Miller tonight, defensively. Reggie didn't play a lot in the first half, but when he has, he's had number 32 wrapped around him. Jeff Foster keeps it alive. Artest powers in, and he's fouled. And Rasheed Wallace gets the call. That's his second foul.
Nice move by Artest. I mean, you look down on the post and you saw Jermaine O'Neal down there with Tayshaun Prince. You're thinking that's where they should have gone, and they should have. But Artest knew that he couldn't get it there. So good move by pushing the ball into the paint, drawing a foul.
Artest at the free throw line, knocks it down. Tune in at NBA TV immediately following every playoff and NBA Finals game for post-game press conferences, live and unedited on NBA TV.
You know, when you're struggling for offense and you're struggling scoring like Artest is, one way of starting to get on track is by getting to the free throw line.
Gives you a stroke attempt.
Yeah, and free. Of course, you got to make it.
Yeah, he should help. That would help. Lead is 7 with 8 to go in the third quarter. Chauncey Billups posts up Tinsley on a fadeaway. And out of bounds to the Pacers, and a foul on Tayshaun Prince. That's his first.
You know, again, you keep looking at the score. If you're Rick Carlisle, you know your team's not playing great, but you're right in it, and you're on the road, you'll take it.
Beach being 14 down.
That's like 100 in this game.
Reggie looking for a pick. foul on Rip Hamilton as he switched off on Jeff Foster. That'll be Rip's second. So 14 on the shot clock. Tinsley gave up an open look and drew a foul.
You know, the difference right now, neither team is scoring, but the Pacers are attacking the basket, and they're going to the foul line, and soon they'll be impounded.
Jamal Tinsley, who took over this team from October to December, he had 8 times when he didn't play coach's decision, the old DNP CD. As Rick Carlisle said, listen, I'm going to play Kenny Anderson or whoever until you figure out how to run this team. And he's been running it since. He has 4 of their 5 points. There's the veteran Kenny Anderson in his 13th season out of Georgia Tech, who was the point guard early in the season for this team. Well, the lead's down to 6. Rick Carlisle got to be happy with it. 7:26 remaining third quarter.
ESPN's presentation of the NBA Eastern Conference Finals, brought to you by Sprite Remix Berry Clear. Rethink, remix, refresh. Wendy's new Chicken Temptations. It's better here. And Nike.
Tonight's game available on ESPN HD. With 7:26 remaining in the third quarter. It's a 41-35 advantage for Detroit. Take a look at our Sprite mad skills in the ball game. Chauncey Billups hasn't had to score a lot, only 5 points, but he has 7 assists, including that wraparound behind the back. This one he leaves for the trailer. For Darvin Ham, an easy one. He's done it a variety of ways, finds his big man underneath, and he has more assists than the entire Pacer team does. So Chauncey Billups, we talked about it earlier, has to readjust his game a little bit from being a scorer to being a guy to lead the team. Larry Brown has told him that, and he's leading it tonight. He's got 2 more assists than the Pacers do.
Yeah, it's a heck of a dilemma. You know, Larry Brown wants him to kind of do both. He's more of a scoring point guard than a point guard, but he needs him to run the team. The dilemma is when to do which one. And right now, he's doing it at a pretty good rhythm.
Of course, you can do both. The Pistons had one named Isaiah Thomas that could do it pretty well. And Chauncey, right after his mad skills, shows a mad jumper.
But that's great because Larry Brown knows that Chauncey Billups is giving up some of his game. So what does he do? He comes out of a timeout and he calls an offensive play for his point guard.
On Artest inside. Muscles in his third field goal. Only 4 Pacers have scored in the ball game, and one of them's not a starter. It's Al Harrington. That tells you about the futility of the offense so far for them.
Having said that, we're down 6.
That's right. They're right in it. Rip Hamilton threw a triple team, got it to Rasheed Wallace. Nice pass.
That was a great pass because he had nowhere to go.
And the Pacers turn it over. Tayshaun Prince with Reggie Miller on it. Spins to the baseline off the glass.
More emotionally, looking at body language, you just don't like what you see in the Pacers right now.
You're right.
They need someone like an Al Harrington to get them going like he did in the first half.
He tries here on the baseline. Rebound, Tayshaun Prince. Billups. Rasheed outside. Got another one. First it was Tayshaun Prince with a spin off the glass. And then Rasheed Wallace from the outside. He's got 15. And the lead is up to 12.
We're back in Detroit, and we have a fan here who is, well, you're kind of a Detroit Pistons fan, but really Joey Harrington hails from Portland, and he's a Trailblazers fan still. What are you doing here?
I'm supporting Detroit. I was telling you, I got a team on the West Coast, and I got a team in the Eastern Conference now, so I got two teams to root for.
You got your bases covered. You know what? That's just straddling the fence, pal.
Hey, I'm a Pistons fan. I'm here rooting for the Pistons. I gotta stay with them.
Well, now it's interesting because Rasheed Wallace leaves Portland and comes to the Pistons. What was your reaction to that trade?
It was a nice transition for me. Someone who I can root for both teams now, right?
There you go. Speaking of transitions, how did you like the draft and how was minicamp?
Oh, I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled with the draft. We picked up some nice talent. We picked up some great young players, energetic, athletic. We've got some talent to work with now.
That's kind of like what you're seeing out here on the floor, energy and athleticism.
Absolutely, absolutely. I wish I could play with these guys. I think some of the guys on our team could, though.
Well, you can dunk, right?
In my younger days, how about that? About 30 pounds ago.
Well, listen, we're looking forward to the season. Thanks for talking to us.
No problem, sir.
Back to you, Brad.
Reggie Miller's first shot of the game blocked. And Joey Harrington, the starting quarterback of the Detroit Lions, talking about the draft. They got Roy Williams. And Rasheed came in a Lions uniform. Dre Bly, the cornerback out of North Carolina, a little North Carolina love. That's why he's wearing Dre's jersey. Joey Harrington, though, got Roy Williams, a wide receiver out of Texas, after Charles Rogers, a wide receiver out of Michigan State the year before. I said to him at halftime, you got to have time to throw to him, though. He said, I'm here with my center, Dominique Raiola. Give him some love because they always give me time to throw.
I've noticed he's bought him hot dogs, popcorn, and everything else.
Yeah, Dominique's eating good. He's in a Pistons jersey next to Joey over there. Ron Artest lays it in. And there's Dominique. He's on the phone, a big Nebraska kid. He eats a lot, and it's not just hot dogs.
That jersey will never look
Never be the same. Never be the same.
You know, the Pistons have had 2 shots in a row to almost turn this game into a rout and lost the opportunity.
Maybe they just got it right there. The Pacers are doing a lot of pacing, not a lot of running.
They really are, Brad.
O'Neal, Reggie for 3. Got it. Only a second shot. He hits the 3. That cuts it back to single digits.
And that was a huge shot for them. I mean, they are right on the fence right now of getting blown out of this game.
Reggie's first field goal in 38 minutes of action, dating back to the 3rd quarter of game 2. And Tinsley, is that going to be his 4th foul? Yep.
You know, first you see the dunk, Brad, right here by Rasheed Wallace. And now, finally, the Pacers get Reggie Miller involved. They get him a wide open look, and he cans it. You know, one shot gets the shooter going.
You saw him go down as Billups ran into his thigh when he let go of that ball. That at least keeps it in a single-digit situation. 3:40 left, 3rd quarter. Hamilton just got the shot away. Harrington pulls down the rebound. And looks like we're going to have fouls both ways here between Corliss Williamson and Ron Artest.
But far more important for Ron Artest, because now that's his 4th foul.
Same with Williamson, but he's not a starter.
He's not a starter, and he's not an all-star.
Right.
You know, so if you're Larry Brown, though you want Williamson to play, I take that trade. The difference is Ron Artest has to sit down. They need his offense. They need him on the floor.
Those two got tangled up trying to battle for the rebound, so they both sit.
You know, if you're Rick Carlisle again, and I keep saying this, the Pacers are not playing very well, but they're only down 9 points. So you're hoping somehow you can get it going.
And Jermaine O'Neal will go to the free throw line.
And just little things like that. Reggie Miller makes a three. Jermaine O'Neal makes an aggressive move. Now he can go to the free throw line. If he can make these 2 shots, now it's a 7-point game. Now the players start looking at the scoreboard and start thinking, you know what, maybe we can. Because early on, a minute ago or 2 minutes ago, it didn't look like they thought that they could get back in this game.
Jermaine O'Neal 4 for 4 so far tonight from the line. Darvin Ham comes out. Mehmet Okur comes in for the Pistons. O'Neal averaged 20 points and 12.5 rebounds in the regular season matchups between these two teams. Has only one 20-point game, 21 in game 1 so far, and now has 15. Down to 8 with 3:15 left in the third quarter. Billups. Hamilton out to Billups. He'll take the 3. And Fred Jones all alone for the rebound.
The Pacers have a chance to cut this to 6 points.
And they do. Jermaine O'Neal, 17 points, and it's down to 6.
See, the body language is changing a little bit all of a sudden.
The Pistons that are doing a little bit of standing around, with the exception of Rip Hamilton, who's constant motion. And he scores. Turnaround jumper over Jones.
You know, we talk about his movement without the ball. With the ball, he's one of the better in-between players in this league. And that's why he can always get his shots off, because you can't block an in-between jump shot.
Not many guys can shoot it like he can, that's for sure. Harrington went up with the left hand, and Ben Wallace snatches the rebound. 9th rebound for Wallace. And 3-second technical illegal defense.
Well, we haven't seen that call much.
She's okay with me.
I'm with you there, too.
Chauncey Billups will go to the free throw line.
I tell you, watching Ben Wallace rebound the basketball, Brad. Someday he's going to pop the basketball.
Watch this.
Just watch this smack. I mean, he's just going to pop it one day. Boy, he jumps quick. That's the one trait with all the great rebounders. They're quick jumpers. Well, Nat Barkley, he was just a big jumper.
Hamilton again with that little mid-range jump shot.
He's one of those players that you don't appreciate unless you watch him a lot. You know,
when you watch him back-to-back games, you like everything.
He is a wonderful player to watch play.
Jermaine O'Neal trying to direct traffic and now backing in on Rasheed Wallace. He walked with it.
Rasheed Wallace, that was like a mini pull the chair. You know, you can see Jermaine O'Neal searching for Rasheed's body. He loses balance right here, and there's the travel.
12th turnover suffered by the Pacers. Rasheed Wallace will get a breather in the final 1:13 of the quarter.
Every time the Pacers make a run, the Pistons make a defensive run to get back in the game.
Rip Hamilton left that pass too far for Mehmet Okur. But Ben Wallace with his hustle, did he track it down? Foul's going to be on Harrington.
If you're going to win on the road in the playoffs, all the loose balls, all the hustle plays have to come from the road team. And right now, they're all coming from the home team. And that's your center out hustling the other players on the floor.
Rip Hamilton, that one's blocked by Anthony Johnson. And he'll come out with a loose ball. And take a pull-up jumper on the other end. Wallace, double figures rebound again for Big Ben. With a half minute remaining in the third, he'll take a jumper, and O'Neal takes the air ball.
That was not a pretty thing.
No, it wasn't. About a 4-second difference on the shot and game clock. Jermaine O'Neal. One field goal this quarter. And Ben Wallace trying to come up with a steal. Did. James gives it up to Rip Hamilton at the buzzer.
Gave it up too late. You got to throw it out ahead right away to Rip Hamilton. He held on it about a scribble too long.
And Rick Carlisle's way the heck out in front of us on the floor. Talking to the officials. He is not a happy coach. Pacers cut the lead down to 6 at one point. At the end of 3 quarters, an 11-point difference. Pistons try to take advantage in game 3. Just got a technical as we ended the third quarter. This is the play in question. He thought Ben Wallace reached around and fouled Jermaine O'Neal, and whether that was a clean block or not, Doc, I think it was the spirit of the thing, because he walked all the way out almost to us to protest the call.
Yeah, I don't think Rick Carlisle would have minded if they had thrown him out. And not because he's trying to quit or leave. I think he's trying to show his team that he still believes they can win this game, and he still is in the fight. I also thought he got the tech because Jermaine O'Neal was getting frustrated, and he wanted to show his star young player that he supports him. So there's times when techs are good. In my opinion, that was an excellent time to get a technical foul.
Rick, in his third year as a head coach, 3 division titles, 3 straight division titles in his first 3 years. The only other guy to have done that in his first 3 seasons as a head coach is Pat Riley.
You know, Brad, when your team is struggling, they look for your coach, and they're looking for their coach right now.
Full court pressure from Detroit. Jones and Bender, Johnson, Crozier, and Harrington. Definitely a different look for the Pacers here to open up the fourth quarter.
The point you just made, Brad, it's exactly right. Definitely a different look. So you're at home wondering why. Well, when you're struggling scoring, you're starting to search. Right now, the Pacers are just trying to search for any combination that can give them some energy and some points on the board. They have 45 points.
And in the first 2 games of the series, they shot 22% in the fourth quarter. So a foul inside there on Crozier against him.
You know, we're in a playoff game, and it's rare you see in the playoff game not one starter on the floor, and that's what you have right now for the Pacers.
And still, it's a 12-point game, which is certainly not out of reach. But the Pacers will need some offense soon, or they'll find themselves down 2-1. They don't get it from the free throw line either.
They really can.
And there's the last 3 games that we were talking about. Tonight, 33%. Remember, 2 of those, when they were under 34, they won. But they lost in the 28% performance on Monday night. And now at 33 again is not doing it. Hamilton. Hunter trying to get rid of it. He'll get it back from Ben Wallace and then threw it away. Fred Jones trying to go coast to coast. Whoa! There's the slam dunk champion.
Look at the Pacers bench. Exactly what Rick Carlisle O'Neal was looking for.
I'm not quite sure where that last step came from, but it was like a rocket being launched. And that was into Ben Wallace's face.
That you won't see very often.
Ham leaves it for Okur, and Crozier with a rebound. Again, the Pacers bench trying to help the cause, and Bender's foul.
Look at the ball movement. Look at them attack. It's an entirely different energy on the floor. And when you go to your bench like this as a coach, what you're trying to get is exactly what they're getting. Each guy, they've been sitting there, and these guys want to help. You know, when you're a bench guy, I just want a chance. And right now, they're getting that chance, and they're going to try to make the best of it.
This one wasn't left to chance. Wow. He did that a few times in the All-Star game, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Here he is with an open jumper. This one's off the mark, and Ben Wallace almost knocked that thing in.
When I'm watching the undersized Austin Crozier work as hard as you've seen him right now, he battled Ben Wallace to the to get that rebound. Almost got it.
Picked up his second foul in doing so. Seven on the shot clock. Rip Hamilton finds Corliss Williamson underneath, and Harrington with a foul.
Great cut by Corliss Williamson. You can see Rip Hamilton looking at him, coming off the screen for him to make that cut, and he doesn't. That's the difference when you have guys who have played together for 1 and 2 years. They read each other so well.
So Corliss Williamson to the free throw line in his 9th year out of Arkansas. Former 6th man of the year in the NBA. And off the mark with a free throw. NBA playoffs continue Friday night on ESPN. Same Pistons and Pacers, game 4 of the Eastern Conference Finals. We'll be right back here. Our coverage gets underway at 7:30. The Kia NBA shoot-around. The NBA playoffs Friday right here on ESPN. Brad Nessler, Doc Rivers, Michelle Tafoya, Tim Gray with you from the Palace at Auburn Hills. 10-point ball game with just over 10 minutes to play.
A lot of time in this game.
Remember last game when Rick Carlisle said the first 1 to 70 wins? See, that's a pretty safe bet again. Rasheed Wallace knocks it away. Nice defensive job by Rasheed. Corliss Williamson on the break, missed off the glass. And now Austin Crozier coming back the other way. Bender, pull up 3. Got it! Jonathan Bender, his first basket is a big one.
7-point game in the Eastern Conference Final. Not one starter on the floor.
And a whistle and a foul. It'll be on Anthony Johnson.
When you see this pass, Austin Crozier, the key, first of all, is that he pushed the ball up the floor, found Bender for the 3. A 7-point game.
So the foul was on Crozier, not. And that's his 3rd. Here's Rasheed Wallace. Oh, what a give to Hamilton.
And what a goal.
That's sneaky.
Rip Hamilton is a nightmare to guard. I mean, you can see Fred Jones doing everything he could. Now Rick Carlisle is starting to come in with his starters again. You know.
Rasheed Wallace with that hand up looked like he was slipping the Mater D a double sawbuck there to get a table. Just kind of right there, boom.
Statue of Liberty.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
the old Statue of Liberty play.
I don't know if Joey Harrington runs that with the Lions or not. Hamilton at the free throw line. 15 for Rip. In and out that time. 60-51. We approach 9 minutes. Every basket's like pulling teeth. Johnson. Wow.
Anthony Johnson, Brad, has been terrific. You know, he's doing what Rick Carlisle wants him to do.
Oh, I thought you were going to say what he wants Jamal Tinsley to do.
Yeah, that too. Or was.
Under 9 minutes in a 9-point game. Don't go away.
ESPN's presentation of the NBA Eastern Conference Finals, brought to you by Nissan, who invite you to shift the way you move through the world. Days In, the best value under the sun. Nike, and new Smirnoff Ice Triple Black, triple filtered for a crisp, clean bite.
Here in Michigan, packed house, the Palace at Auburn Hills. 60-51, Detroit leads at home with just under 9 minutes remaining in the ball game. Our Nokia storyline in the ball game. Now the law firm of Wallace & Wallace has been pretty impressive tonight. Rasheed and Ben have both been involved. They've combined for 26 points and 15 rebounds, including that one by Ben Wallace with some authority. That gave him 10 for the ball game. On the other side, Jermaine O'Neal's had a pretty good night. Maybe not enough touches, 17.6 rebounds. It's been tough sledding, but the Indiana bench, led by Al Harrington, who's got 10 points off the bench, has helped get them back in the ball game. And with 8:56 to go, it's a 9-point game. Anthony Johnson going to the free throw line following that foul before the timeout by Chauncey Billups. Anthony, his 7th year out of college at Charleston. He's one of the wily old veterans at the age of 29. Let's check in with Michelle.
Well, during that last timeout, guys, Larry Brown telling his team, hey, stay down on everybody. Don't foul. Don't let him get to the foul line. And don't give up second shots. He does not want Indiana getting to the free throw line to score their points. He does not want them to get offensive rebounds. And he reminded them, look, we have no more fouls to give. And that was his last message to his guys.
The last one they gave was 2 points for Anthony Johnson to make it a 7-point difference.
And that's the point we made earlier in the quarter when Rick Carlisle went to his bench. They didn't necessarily score, but they attacked the basket and got fouls. Now they have penalty the rest of the way.
Rasheed Wallace for 3. Airballed one. Corliss Williamson trying to save it and throws it away.
Hold on.
Yeah, don't go any place. Crozier got a straightaway look at a 3 and knocked it down.
Hold on. It's a 4-point game.
Almost unbelievably. From 12 at one point, it was 51-39. Now it's 60-56. The Pistons have not lost a game this year when holding an opponent under 70 points, including their last outing with the Pacers. And the officials will talk this one over. It's going to be Pistons ball. The shot clock stays at 5 seconds, though, as Ben Wallace checks back in. And who's going out? Tayshaun Prince. Corliss Williamson looking for either Rasheed Wallace or Rip Hamilton. Got it to Rasheed. 3 on the shot clock. Hamilton got it at the buzzer. Wow.
The ability to shoot off the dribble.
Crozier will try another triple. This one's way too strong, but Anthony Johnson's got a second look, and he missed it. They got 2 good shots. Couldn't knock him down.
And one great look for Anthony Johnson. That shot Rip Hamilton made so far is the biggest shot of the game.
No doubt. Rip Hamilton with 17 points, and you can see the lights and the 0. And through it goes. Whoa. Crozier with a push. Ben Wallace making a tough catch down there.
And again, you watch Rip Hamilton, Brad, and that pull-up jump shot. Earl Monroe and Walt Frazier pull-up jump shot. A lost start in our league. It's the reason why this guy will always be able to score in any situation.
He's got 5 of 6 Detroit's points this quarter, Doc. And remember, in game 2 the other night, he had 13 of their 17 fourth-quarter points. So he's been the money man. And they're going to start wearing those plastic masks around the Palace of Auburn Hills if he keeps this up.
Well, they should. And, you know, in the playoffs, your offense is going to break down. After game 1, you know exactly what the other team is going to do. They know what you're going to do. So when you swing the ball, you need to swing the ball to a guy who can create his own shot. When you look at the Pistons, who can create their own shot? Rip Hamilton, and he's doing it.
The fans that show up with the pro wigs on for Ben Wallace, I think they ought to put the see-through masks on and the headband for Rip Hamilton. Ben got 1 of 2. He's in double figures with 10.
I don't know if we want guys walking around in masks in Detroit.
Well, as long as they're see-through, I think we're okay. But you're saying there's enough of that anyway? Tinsley. And he missed a 3. Corliss Williamson stepped on the baseline trying to battle for that rebound.
So, you know, Tinsley is open for those threes, and he can make some of them. I still think he should pass some of those up and use his quickness. But I do think his ankle is bothering him. I really do.
Artest looks up at the clock, looks at Corliss Williamson in front of him. Drive strong, and then he's fouled by Ben Wallace as he got his own offensive rebound. Let's check in with Jim.
Brad and Doc, Jamal Tinsley's been nursing that bad left hamstring. He continually is getting treatment, and David Craig has been working on it continually. He did roll the ankle the other night, but it is his hamstring, and the big problem is when he comes out of the game, it goes cold, and it gives him a lot of problem trying to get it back warmed up again. Got some treatment at halftime again. This is something that takes rest. He cannot get this better in a day or 2. This will not be better until after the season, Brad.
He's rolled that sleeve down that was up around his calf and his ankle area. And that happened the other night in game 2. Kind of rolled his foot up on a break near the end of the ball game and got his feet tangled up and then did a funny skid, and that's when the hamstring pulled or stretched on him a little bit.
Well, you can watch him move. He has a sore ankle, a bad hamstring.
Everything hurts.
And that's tough break for the Pacers because they need his ability to break down defense.
And
Offensive 3-second violation against Indiana.
Indiana with a second defensive 3 call.
And, you know, the Pacers' bottom line right now are playing the zone. And they're going to get a couple of those calls. But they figure if they can get away with more than they get caught on, then they're fine with it. But every point counts at this point in the game.
I'm still a little shocked looking at the scoreboard. 6:22 left. It's a 6-point game. Unbelievable.
You're watching the NBA Eastern Conference Finals on ESPN.
Welcome back to the Palace of Auburn Hills. Pistons lead by 6. I'm Jim Gray, joined by Brian Shaw. He is a special assistant to Phil Jackson with the Lakers. He's here scouting the Eastern Conference Finals. Is this maybe the first time that someone has scouted defense?
Yeah, pretty much. It's tough to watch. You know, both teams are very physical, and they post up. Every shot is contested, and so it makes for a lack of offense on both sides.
Your page is blank over there. I don't think I've ever seen a scout with a blank page. How do you scout this team, and what do you report back?
Well, you just try to pick up the play calls and pick up their tendencies, you know, and just try to do what they're doing, make each other miss shots.
Both these teams, either the Timberwolves or the Lakers, would they be licking their chops to face either of these two teams?
Well, it's a different style of play, you know, but I think that both teams will feel confident about their offense against these teams.
Brian, we look forward to the finals. Thanks for taking the time.
Thanks for having us.
Back to you, Brad.
Brian, a heck of a player for the Lakers in his own right, and Ben Wallace jam gives him 12 points at the 6-minute mark. Ron Artest got his own miss. Boy, he can go and get his own miss about as well as anybody.
That's because he's stronger than everybody. You know, he has the ability to move and move bodies, and that's why he gets rebounds. I'll make this point, you know, about this West and this East thing, Brad. There's no doubt that you look at the Lakers and the Timberwolves, and they have great offense. But it's not going to be an easy series for either one of those teams when they face either one of these defenses. I guarantee you that.
Both teams 14 out of 18 from the free throw line. Now the Pacers +1 in that column as Artest has a dozen.
You know, I thought Brian Shaw made the best point. He's looking at ways they can, I don't know if we can score on these two teams.
Artest to try to make it a 6-point game again. Does. 66-60.
Again, if you're Rick Carlisle, your team has struggled. It's 6 minutes, you're down 6, you're in this game. All you want is a chance to steal it. That's all you're thinking right now.
Reggie Miller just turned around to the other 4 Pacers and yelled, "Let's go." They're looking for a stop. They didn't want that. Billups for 3.
Boy, they turned their back on Chauncey Billups.
First 3-pointer of the night for the Pistons in 10 tries. Williamson all over Artest. He'll pull up.
Oh, not a good shot.
Not a good shot. Ben Wallace tracks down the miss.
The ball never moved. A forced jump shot. That's a tough spot for that shot.
And now a foul to boot. Just what you didn't want to happen when you get it down to a half dozen is let a guy that hit 133 pointers on the season find a little crevice right there.
Well, what he found was 2 guys ran away from him. Austin Crozier and Reggie Miller were playing zone. They kind of had him zone in. Each guy thought the other guy was going to take him. They both left, and Chauncey Billups is thinking, wait a minute, I'm not that bad of an offensive player.
It was the old "I got him, you take him" routine, and Billups made him pay. 5 fouls on Artest as Corliss Williamson knocks down the free throw. The first team to 70, we talked about it. Now the first team to cross it are the Pistons at 71. And timeout taken by the Pacers. The lead goes back to double digits. With 5 minutes and change remaining. Pistons trying to take a 2-1 advantage. They're 5 minutes away. Everybody at the Palace will be dancing 5 minutes from now if Detroit holds on to this lead. 71-60, double-digit advantage. Brad Nessler, Doc Rivers back with you. The one constant in this whole thing, and we talked about it coming into Game 3 offensively, but as an all-around player again tonight's Rip Hamilton.
Yeah, we talked about it in Game 1, Game 2, and Game 3, and he really has been a difference maker. We know that he can score. He can get a shot whenever he wants to, but he's not only just scoring in this series, he's getting everyone else involved. He's the one guy on this Piston team that has been breaking the Pacers defense down, getting everyone involved. He has absolutely been the difference maker so far in this series.
And he scored 24 of the 48 fourth quarter points in this series for Detroit. Let's check in with Michelle.
Well, Larry Brown told me earlier, with Rip, it's like coaching Reggie Miller again. Brown coached the Pacers before. Brown said the kid has a will to try to get open. He's not afraid to take big shots. He's relentless in using screens and running people off picks. And that's a lot of the same qualities Reggie had when I coached him. He sees a lot of similarities, guys. And, Doc, I know you do, too.
Yeah, I really do. You know, and I've said the only difference, I think Rip is better with the ball in his hand, and Reggie's a better three-point shooter. You know, the one thing Rip can do that Reggie couldn't is what we just saw. Rip does a great job of getting into the paint and getting everyone else involved as well.
Jermaine O'Neal at the free throw line. Jermaine, who was in a rhythm early in the ball game. And again, for really the second game in a row, Doc, it seemed like they went away from this kid.
Yeah, they really did. And, you know, they went through that one stretch where everyone was struggling. So Rick Carlisle was forced to search for different combinations. And that combination did include O'Neal. When you're struggling like that, you have to go somewhere else.
Jermaine has a quiet 19.
Quiet 19.
And he's only 1 of 3 from the floor in the second half, so he is not getting the touches again in this second half, much like game 2 when he went 0 for 8 in the second half. We're under 5 minutes. Still a single-digit situation, though. Wallace to the basket.
That ball was sitting there, waiting for someone to pick it up. And it can't be the home team if you're on the road, if you're thinking about winning the game. That's what Anthony Johnson is thinking right now. I mean, watch it. The ball is just laying there for someone to get. Those are just huge plays.
And he knocks down the free throw for a three-point play. 15 for Ben Wallace. The lead's back to 12. Jermaine O'Neal, he'll have a chance for a three-point play. Tayshaun Prince with the foul. First field goal for the Pacers, though, in almost 4 minutes.
I'm laughing. Tayshaun, it's funny, when he makes a mistake, he immediately looks over at his coach. And if I have any advice from him from being a player,
don't look over there.
Don't look over there. Because I guarantee you, it's not a good thing.
He got so used to trying to not look over at Tubby Smith, he's got the same problem going with Larry Brown. So Jermaine O'Neal with 22 points to lead the way for the Pacers. They still trail by 9.
But you know the old saying, when they stop yelling at you, that's when you better worry.
Billups, nice cut to the basket and a great pass by Hamilton, but he'll have to earn it at the free throw line. Jamal Tinsley picks up his 5th foul. Chauncey Billups 3 for 4 from the line. Came in shooting 89% in the playoffs from the stripe. Kind of talked that one in.
You know, as fully as the Pacers played, there have been so many opportunities for them to get back in this game. And all the big plays, all the hustle plays have gone to the Pistons.
They got it down to 5 points. And as you said earlier, Doc, every time they got it within a handful, it seemed like the Pistons had an answer or a defensive stop to keep it from getting any closer. Rasheed Wallace, another foul call on him. That's 4 on him.
Well, I keep thinking about what Michelle said that Larry Brown told his guys not to do. The one thing we can't do, guys, is foul because it stops the clock and it allows the Pacers to keep marching to the free throw line. Now, it would help if they made it.
Jermaine O'Neal's done his part in that area. He's hit his last 4 and 8 of 9 tonight. He keeps that smooth motion going. O'Neal 23. As we approach 4 minutes, 76-67. Pistons at home in front. Rip Hamilton. Ben Wallace just went up and got it. Tayshaun Prince spin baseline last time on Reggie Miller on this move. This time, same move. Didn't score it and didn't draw the foul either.
But they burned about 40 seconds of clock.
Tinsley in the tall timbers. And Rasheed Wallace going to have another foul call on him. And he runs out the crowd after that one.
You know, you may not love Rasheed Wallace, but I love his reactions.
The other night it was the dance.
It was the dance. And give the officials credit. They know this is a playoff game. I mean, any other situation, that is absolutely a technical foul.
Right. He's still talking, and he could still talk himself into one if he doesn't watch out.
Oh, he's close. Hey, Brad, I know it sounds crazy, but it's a 7-point game.
I know that. Every time I look down, I can't believe it. Rip Hamilton trying to run around some screens on the baseline. And Ben Wallace stepped out to try to set a pick, and he gets the foul.
That was a good call. I mean, you can see Ben Wallace, if you move at all, that's a foul. That was a great call.
Little hip check on Ron Artest.
Big possession.
O'Neal dumps it down to Tinsley. The extra bounce, and he puts it in.
It's a 5-point game. The Detroit Pistons are going to have to burn a timeout. The Pacers are in penalty, and they're getting excited again.
And Larry Brown is letting the officials have it as well. An upset coach doesn't want his team to get upset. They lead by 5. He got around a pick. Here's the 3. Got it! Tinsley, Reggie Miller, and it's blocked again.
Oh, what a block!
How did Prince get there?
I didn't think it was any way possible for him to get this shot.
Heroes in both games, 1 and 2. Who'll be the hero tonight? This one, at times, looked like it'd be over. It's anything but. 2:51 remaining. Pistons lead by 5. This is almost a high-scoring game in this series. If each team gets 3 more points, we'll have the highest-scoring game we've had through 3 games.
The perseverance, you know, that's what I'm thinking right now. I'm looking at the Pacers, and they've struggled all game. Rick Carlisle has used different lineups. He's gone small. He's gone big. He's gone with his whole bench. And at the end of the day, with 3 minutes left, he's only down 5 points.
The 26 points that the Pacers have right now is their highest-scoring quarter of the series so far. Lob to Wallace. And Austin Crozier will pick up the foul.
That's the 3rd time now in this game out of timeouts. Larry Brown has drawn up a lob play. He's legendary. He's known for lobs and backdoors out of timeouts.
So Rasheed Wallace to the free throw line. 3 for 3 there tonight. He hasn't scored in this quarter. Very even on the free throws. In this quarter alone, the teams have shot 28 and 29 free throws respectively. And he missed them both.
Guys are not very comfortable in this arena anymore.
Now they'll start chanting defense again. Tinsley on a runner off the glass.
Great play out of the timeout. A double pick and roll. They've decided that one pick's not good enough.
I hope you didn't go out for about an hour when it was a 12-point game because it's down to 3. Or if you have, welcome back. And welcome to the Eastern Conference Finals where everything's been close, everything's been contested, everything's been a struggle, and now the Pacers almost unbelievably have a chance to cut it to 1 or to tie. They're on an 8-0 run. 2 minutes to play. Crozier going to try to drive on both Wallaces, and he throws it in.
Austin Crozier has had an impact in this game. It's a 1-point game, and Rick Carlisle has to be thrilled right now.
1:40 left. A shocked sellout crowd right now. Seen the Pistons lead dwindle down to 1. Rasheed Wallace on the baseline, and he's got a chance for a 3-point play. Austin Crozier's just fouled out, but he did this before he picked up his 6th foul.
Well, you saw why you like Crozier, and you saw why you don't like him because of his size. He's an undersized 4, so you can use his quickness and his shot. He got to the basket, he got a dunk. But on the other end, because he's undersized, he now has given up a three-point play opportunity. That's the dilemma when you have a guy like Crozier.
Al Harrington will come in to take his spot. Rasheed Wallace, 14 points in the first 2, 19 tonight. Jamal Tinsley, who had a big basket a minute or so ago. Doc and I just watched him hobbling out from the bench. He's limping noticeably. Rasheed Wallace has 20.
He really is struggling.
I don't think you want to go away, everybody. 92 seconds left. It's a 4-point game.
Very nice.
Like all. All right, fellas, we'll see you when it's over. Scott and Stu are standing by, and we're here with 1:32 left with Doc Rivers, Michelle Tafoya, and Jim Gray. I'm Brad Nessler. Pacers have scored on their last 7 trips. They've made a 12-point deficit, down to 1 at one point, but now the Pistons, courtesy of Rasheed Wallace's three-point play, are up by 4. Can they hold the lead at home and take over home court advantage with a 2-1 edge in the best of 7? That's what their faithful think they can do. We're about ready to find out.
4-point game, 1:32. The Pacers just have to get a good shot here. No need for a free, no need to rush.
Pacers have hit their last 4 shots to get to that 75-point total. Artest, Tinsley, Harrington, Reggie Miller, and Jermaine O'Neal on the floor. Miller, 3. Didn't get the look he wanted. Ben Wallace has another rebound.
Didn't catch it the way he wanted. You could see that. He was fumbling with the ball when he caught it. Had a time, actually.
Rip Hamilton made a nice run at him, too. The flash in front of him as he tried to let go of it. Tayshaun Prince, and he is fouled before the shot by Reggie Miller. Go back to Reggie's shot, Doc.
Yeah, you can see, set it up really nice. Rip Hamilton got picked off, but look at Rip Hamilton. He keeps pursuing, and you can see Reggie didn't turn and catch it the way he wanted to, but I really thought Rip Hamilton's effort bothered Reggie Miller's shot.
Tayshaun Prince knocks down the free throw.
You know, it's almost like Rip Hamilton, even though he got picked off, he kind of knew where Reggie was going.
He said, I'll meet you out there.
Yeah, I'll be there in a little bit.
In and out on the second by Prince. A minute left, 5-point game. Harrington back steps on Rasheed Wallace, and he knocks down a 3. Al Harrington with a huge shot.
And that shot gave them the ability now to just play defense. They don't need the foul here.
Harrington's second three-pointer in the playoffs couldn't come at a bigger time. Ben Wallace, the follow, got it! Timeout, Pacers. Al Harrington, the big guy. Only his second three-pointer in the postseason. It's huge. But on the other end, the huge inside presence of Big Ben, for whom the bell tolls one more time. 4-point game, a half minute left. Ben Wallace in the mix of the Pistons huddle was the guy that just scored a huge basket. But, Doc, there's a lot of time left in this ball game.
Yeah, there still is. And, you know, again, they would love to get a three, the Pacers would. But if they got a quick 2 and foul, I think they would live with that. The bottom line is the Pacers are just happy to be here right now, and they are right here.
There was a time it didn't look like that would be the case. Ben Wallace, 8 of his 17 points have come in this fourth quarter. Bad boys, too.
Most have been layups.
Most have been
layups. And, you know, Ben Wallace got that tip in, but that was really caused by the penetration again of Rip Hamilton.
There's the firm of Wallace and Wallace. 37 points and 19 rebounds between Rasheed and Ben.
Pretty dominant.
Not bad.
You know, you look at Jermaine O'Neal, and he has great size, but he needs another guy with the same size to give him some help on the other end.
Pistons have only lost twice this year when holding an opponent under 80 points. The Pacers have 78 and looking for more.
You know, everyone at home, everyone in the arena, everyone right now is saying, where's Reggie? Where's Reggie?
He's standing on the baseline with Rip Hamilton set to try to glue himself to his backside.
I can tell you who would love to get a shot at the three. He might not make it, but I think Artest right now would love to get one crack at a shot.
Crowd deafening right now for their defense. Reggie, a tough catch on the inbound. Jermaine O'Neal almost walked with it. Harrington, long shot again. And a foul.
There are times, Brad, when it looks like there's 6, 7, or 8 Pistons all out on the floor. I mean, they're doubling, they're rotating, they're contesting, and they're rebounding. They're everywhere.
It's like playing basketball against a group of octopi, several octopus.
Yes.
Whatever it is.
That means lots of things.
Lots of tentacles. Rip Hamilton will go to the free throw line. He missed his last free throw, but he is 3 of 4. 17 points for Rip tonight. Points. This could make it a 6-point difference with just 18 seconds left. Look at the free throw shooting by both teams, really. Second one comes out, and the Pacers want a timeout and get one called quickly.
So again, it's a 5-point game, Brad, and a lot, 17 seconds. That's enough time. They can get a 3 or a quick 2 here and foul. But now they need help from the Pistons. They need the Pistons to miss a couple of free throws or turn the ball over.
Detroit leading 83-78 with 17 and a half remaining in the ball game. And you think about the schedule, and we told you when we started, every other day. So game 4 Friday night here in Detroit, 8 o'clock Eastern, our start. Game 5 Sunday will be back at Conseco Fieldhouse at 8 o'clock. Larry Bird knows that his team's going to get back home, but will they be down 3-1? That's the question.
Well, if you're Rick Carlisle, you're looking at this game, and the message you have to tell your players are, we didn't play well, and we still had a chance to win. We're not going to win this game most likely, but all we need is one.
Johnson the inbound. Reggie with a catch. Turns. Got Rip Hamilton in the air. Threw it up there. And Rip Hamilton comes out of the pack with it. With 10 seconds left.
I got to tell you, Brad, when Reggie Miller got Rip Hamilton up in the air, and drew the contact, I thought I was going to hear a whistle.
Right there.
And what they're saying, and the officials are saying, is that Rip came down straight and Reggie drew the contact. He jumped into him.
Reggie's not buying that right now.
He's not, but you know what? I've never liked that call when the offensive player jumps into the defensive player. Now, if you can get the defensive player up in the air and he jumps into you, then I think you should make the call.
The other thing, almost unbelievably, this ball almost goes in. Watch the end result. There's what Doc's talking about, the lean in. That thing almost went. 10 seconds left. And this one should make it academic right here for Rip Hamilton, which would give him his 20th point. And the Pistons at home in game 3. There'll be reason for their fans to rejoice. Jermaine O'Neal and the Pistons have a 2-1 lead in the Eastern Conference Finals. Boy, they fought tooth and nail again. Every possession was big. Every shot seemed to count. The defense of Detroit came through again, and they held off the late Pacer charge. As we check in with Michelle Tafoya.
I've got two guys with me. I've got Rip Hamilton and Rasheed Wallace. Rasheed, let's start with you. You guarantee game 2. You come in here, game 3, and play probably your best playoff game. How is the foot feeling, and how did you get so productive tonight?
It's feeling a little better, but, you know, we have a bigger goal tonight than my foot, and that's to go ahead and win the NBA championship. You know, Rip keep playing the way he's been playing the whole series in the last few playoff games. I think we can get to the final.
Any more guarantees?
I guarantee you that game 4 will be here in Detroit.
Thank you, Rasheed. Let's turn to Rip. What are you thinking at the end of the game as Reggie Miller is going to launch a 3? You jump up. He kind of gets contact out of you. How afraid were you that you might get called for the foul?
I just want to stay with him. You know, Reggie's a great player, and especially in them situations. And he got me off my feet a little bit, but I just went straight up and down. I didn't try to go into him, so they gave me the benefit of the doubt.
What was it like for you tonight to be that guy at the foul line throughout most of the end of this game?
I love it. You know, pressure bust pipes. And, you know, I think I have fun with that situation. My teammates look for me, especially at that time of the game. And, you know, me and Chauncey are both great foul shooters, and we just try to get open and knock them down. Just
another grinded-out game, though, between these two teams. The one offensive constant, though, seems to be you, Rip. How are you finding the opportunities?
I'm just fighting. I'm trying to move without the ball. You know, they switching up a little bit, putting Ryan on me a little bit, Reggie on me. So I'm trying to pick my poison. I think the guys are doing an excellent job of setting screens, and if I keep moving, that's always hard to guard.
Rip, congratulations.
Thanks a lot.
A guarantee, Brad, game 4 will be here. Back to you.
We know that's Friday night. Hamilton and Wallace each with 20 points. The Pacers cut the lead to 1 point at 76-75, but the Pistons closed it out 9-3 to take a 2-0 series lead in the Eastern Conference Finals. 85-78 the final. Don't forget Friday night, 7:30, game 4, Pacers and Pistons right here.